Hello, hello. All right, getting a few more folks in. Waiting for one more person. Come on, Kelly, you can do it. There she is. All right, some friendly faces. Good to see everyone. Thanks for joining on a Sunday. A few housekeeping things, and then we'll jump right on in. So this is our small group that we'll be working with for the next 5 weeks. I think what's really special about doing these live classes is one, you guys actually get to see that you're not alone in this journey. When I was planning to move abroad for the first time in 2013, I felt very like gaslit by my community and the people around me because people were telling me like, why would you ever leave the United States, the greatest country in the world? You're crazy for wanting to do it. You're crazy for trying. And it was so isolating. And so that's why I put together these live classes so you can see in real time, you're not crazy. You are just a little bit different from the rest of the people around you right now. And you're taking steps to really invest in what you want for your next life versus the conditioning that we've had for most of our childhood and adult life in the United States. I'm liking Art and Chandler up there. I like the head nods. I appreciate that. Secondly, we're going to be together for the next 5 weeks. So every Sunday, we discuss the content and the homework from the week prior. So today, we're talking about week one. Next Sunday, we're talking about week two, etc. Our last session together is when I get to drink champagne and you guys get to do the heavy lifting. Uh, each week is contributing to a greater plan for how to get you abroad. And you'll be presenting like a 5 slide, 5 minute little presentation about your actual plan abroad. It's a really great way to have something concrete when you leave this small group. And you'll have the skills to pivot and iterate in case plans change, which they often do. And you can just keep repeating the process over and over again. You also never lose access to anything. So you can come back, check into things, use our new AI experience, which you'll hear a little bit about. And last thing is, I'm a Cancer. I'm going to talk about my feelings constantly. And I encourage you to talk about your feelings too, because for the first time, or at least it is sometimes people's first time, you get to be in a really safe space where people understand where you're coming from, what you want to pursue abroad. And by opening up, it really gives people strength to open up themselves as well. And this can be a very like intimate session together, which I'm going to deeply enjoy. Kelly, glad to have you in the trenches and all of the feelings. Uh, we're gonna have to work on that Libra energy, Kevin, but no one is perfect. Okay, we are going to get started by introducing ourselves and saying where we're calling from, where we hope to go, and what our spirit animal is. And let's keep it a little bit brief because we're going to be diving into our values today and, talking about our feelings more. And I really want to spend the most time on that. So, where you're calling from, I'm just writing this down, where you hope to go, and your spirit animal. Also, all of our sessions are going to be recorded, but held in a private location, just so you can come back and like listen to the feedback again and review materials. Uh, was that all I want? Oh, and we're going to have an Instagram group chat, so we can talk to each other daily, and actually watch each other leave and go abroad because Instagram's filled with like travel content and fun videos about other pathways abroad. So if you could drop your Instagram handle in the chat, I will set this up tomorrow morning. Okay, so I'm Vanessa. I am originally from Los Angeles, California, but today I am calling you from Berlin, and it's obviously night here. My spirit animal is my cat, Bao Bao. His legal name is Xiaolong Bao. And I have like this little cat thing right here because that is my whole personality. Let's go next to Sophia, and then Sophia, you call in the next person.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sophia, and I'm calling from the San Francisco Bay Area. I hope to immigrate into France, and my spirit animal, I'd say, is the hawk.
Ooh, okay. Could I have more information why?
Um, I think because I'm into astrology and I'm a Scorpio, and most people don't know that with Scorpio, there's different levels. Like the lowest level is the Scorpion, but once they evolve, they evolve into the hawk.
I'm gonna need more information at another time
Yeah,
because I have three Scorpio placements. My husband's a Scorpio.
yeah,
Scorpio,
yeah.
leave me alone.
Cool.
Who should go next, Sophia?
Who's Natalia? Is that how you say your name?
Yeah, perfect. Hi everyone, my name is Natalia. I'm originally Costa Rican. I'm naturalized in the US as a US citizen, and I live in DC, Washington, DC right now. I would like to go to Europe. I would like to say Spain right now. And my spirit animal, I would say maybe the sloth as a good Costa Rican. I love the sloths. And I would love to be that cool and relaxed like they are. So that's for sure. Next person, Jasmine.
Sorry, I was muted. I'm Jasmine. I'm currently in San Diego. I live out of Reno, Nevada. Originally from Canada. I'm also naturalized US citizen. And I was originally thinking I would go to Germany. I work in tech and get a tech job there. However, in talking with Vanessa, I realized I'm close to retirement age and I'm going to go down that path and look at maybe getting a D7 visa for Portugal. Spirit animal, I, I don't really have one. I've never thought about it. I'm
These
a
are
cat person.
important. Say it again.
I'm a cat person, so maybe a cat. I kind of like I'm social when I want to be, but then I want to just be alone when I want to be. So maybe that's more like a cat.
That is speaking to my soul. Thanks, Jasmine. Who's next? Or you get to pick Jasmine.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Sophie, Arden Chandler.
Hi, I'm Chandler, that's Art. We're calling from Tucson, Arizona. Here, let me see. We're hoping to also immigrate to Europe. At the top of our list right now is Ireland and Germany. They work in mechanical engineering, and I'm looking to get a master's and then maybe into higher ed working. And I would say we're pretty similar to cats. We have our cat right there. Um, we love cats. Yeah, I'm happy to be here with you guys.
Okay. Do you want to choose someone next?
Oh, yes. Sorry, my bad. Let me scroll through this. Lindsay, have you gone? Okay, you're up.
Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay. I am currently in England, just outside of London, but I am from LA. I was living in LA until last fall. And I'm on the fence, still trying to decide, but I'm looking at Ireland and Spain, potentially Germany for where to go. And my spirit animal is the wolf. It's been my spirit animal since I was 5 years old. I had like 30 stuffed animal wolves as a kid. And I'm a big cat person too. I feel like wolves are like this intersection between dogs and cats in a way because they're wild like cats and they're like, you can't tell me what to do, but they're still pack animals and still like really playful. And they're just magical and they're musical too. So, Alma.
Hi everyone, I'm Alma. I'm calling from New York City. I would love to go to Germany and Netherlands. I work in tech, so seems pretty common to go there. And my spirit animal would be, I think, a horse. Very, in a way, free-spirited, loyal, could be very stubborn.
That's a good
Um,
quality to have when you're moving abroad, being stubborn. You just
yeah.
never give
Good. Cool. I call on Kendra.
Hi guys, I'm Kendra. My husband is commandeering our other children, but his name is Chad, so he'll probably be in and out as well. I'm calling you guys from Atlanta. So it's very hot. Let's see. I missed it that quick. Oh, spirit animal. Where we hope to go. I would probably say we're looking right now between Spain, the Netherlands, and then UK. And spirit animal, I would say a phoenix.
I like that. May I call you Dr. Kendra?
You can. I don't know how to take that off.
No, you earned it. Leave it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know how to take it off the thing. I I'm actually, this is probably going to come at some point in time. I worked in public health. I am one of the thousands of government employees that just jobs disappeared. So as I do like interviews and stuff, they always want you to have it on the title, and I have no idea how to take it off. So sorry about that.
If you move here to Germany, you will forever be called Dr. Frau Driver, which is Dr. Mrs. and then your last name, obviously. We take PhDs very seriously over here.
I wish they took them more seriously here. So great.
Who's next, Kendra?
Amanda.
Hi, my name's Amanda. I am in Los Angeles. I have my boyfriend and I are looking, he is working today, so he'll be watching the recordings back. But we are both looking to hopefully move and find jobs in the UK. I work in the entertainment industry out here in Los Angeles, so that's kind of where we're putting our focus. And I think my spirit animal would be an elephant. I appreciate strength in all aspects of life. And they're just adorable. So I think if I had to be one animal, that would be the one I would want to be. Um, I'll pass it off to Kelly.
Awesome. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Tech and I don't always get along. So I am calling from upstate New York. So Alma, it's just a few hours away here. I am looking to go to Italy or the Netherlands. That seems to be kind of where I'm focusing. I have a pit bull. So I think Vanessa, you and I have touched a little bit very quickly. So that adds, some complications to the mix in terms of where I can take him. But I am in the energy industry and have been for quite some time on the finance side. So I've worked in nuclear, hydro type stuff. So I've got some options there. And then my spirit animal, like many of you, would be cat. Uh, I, you know, you can come near me when I want you to, but other than that, we're good.
Very similar personalities in this call. My marketing is really like working in overdrive. Who's next, Kelly?
Oh, good question. How about Kevin? I don't think you've gone yet.
We have two Kevins here.
Ooh, it just says Kevin.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Kevin. I'm calling from Southwest Ohio, just like where I'm from. Um, I have, yeah, so I work in tech as a software developer, like related to the DoD, because that's like what's out here basically. My wife does as well, actually she's also a software developer. Um, I was originally wanting to go to the Netherlands, but I'm thinking the more I look into it, the more I think Ireland maybe would be a better fit. Um, Spirit, I also have three cats, but I was sitting here thinking like, what should I choose? And then I saw my the Tux Linux penguin, so I was like, oh, I'll go with penguins because I like the cold, and I have a 4-year-old that I like to take care of, and I think penguins like take care of their young, but I don't know. I'll go with that.
Who's next, Kevin? Is it the
Oh,
two?
sure. Yeah, the other Kevin, I guess.
Hi, I'm calling from Florida. Um, and I'm also I work in tech as well. I mean most being like a IT generalist, so have done like, support side, some of the administration side. So, just kind of all hands, And I guess I'm kind of on the fence, even though I probably like most people say like in Europe, uh, kind of like how Kevin was saying, like probably Ireland, Netherlands, Spain as well. But there was also other areas that I wanted to explore as well. Um, and I think my spirit animal is uh, the wolf as well, even though people have been calling me the cat whisperer because I guess I attract, a lot of cats around me. So
You'd be very popular in my household.
yeah.
Cool. And so I think it's just Jayla.
Hi, I'm Jayla.
Jayla, sorry, thanks.
No, you're fine. Um, I'm Jayla. I'm also calling from New York. I'm in Brooklyn. Just moved here from North Carolina. I move around a lot for no reason at all. But currently in Brooklyn. And I'm not settled on where I want to go yet. I'm kind of open. But I work in higher ed, so open to still doing that or doing something else. And then spirit animal. Mm, Maybe like a poison dart frog, because they're just so colorful and fun and small, but like secretly, if you touch them, they will kill you. And that really resonates with me.
I love your energy. You are a spirited young person. Thank you for that. Great. So, we have a lot of commonalities, whether it's our spirit animal, our locations, where we're coming from. You're starting to see how not unique we all are. Like it is totally doable what we're here to do. It is a path worth taking. And I look forward to all of us like lifting each other up as we go through one of the hardest transitions you'll ever make as someone. So, with that being said, today we're talking all about values. And I want to preface this conversation with there is no perfect country to run away to, truly and honestly. Everyone is dealing with their own internal dramas. However, my priority as your coach is to find some place that matches your values to like the 70-80%, but more importantly, where you can feel safe. Safety is the number one priority for me, for you, your family, your partners. And so when we're thinking about our pathways abroad, we also have to remember the first visa will not be the last visa that you apply for. You will always need to have a few until you become either a permanent resident or, like myself, humble brag, a citizen. So this is what we're working towards, guys. So you can officially not take shit from anyone else. And I will always try to put you on a path of least resistance. You are, of course, free to resist, but I'm trying to remove as many barriers as possible. So let's start with Dr. Kendra. I know you're holding on a little one too. Did you get a chance to do the value exercise?
I did. Oh, this is Cade.
Hi, Cade.
He sees something shiny, so it's not at all interesting. It's his piano. I'm very sorry. I did. I did the values exercise. What exactly do you want me to?
I want to know your values.
So I circled a lot of them, but I know it said go down to the four. For for us, it would be health, happiness, the ability to make a difference, and inclusiveness.
Okay. Inclusive. Could I ask what your partner does for work?
Yeah, my husband's a engineering data analyst, so
Mhm.
he works for the utility system here, and he helps like provide telecommunications to like rural areas.
Gotcha. Could I ask how many little ones you have?
Sure, we have three. We have a 7-year-old daughter, a 4-year-old daughter, and Kate just turned 8 months old today.
So I'm inclined to recommend Germany to you, but I want to know, do you have any like my English is bad today. Requirements from like a lifestyle perspective, like Germany can be sometimes intimidating for people of color because we're just outnumbered here, truly and
Mhm.
honestly. However, while I can't speak to the experience of being Black and in Europe, I do have a very like thorough community of Black, brown people and can speak in regards to what they've told me. But do you have any feelings about it?
I don't. Germany was on our short list originally. Honestly, it's wherever we can find work. Weather would kind of be the second thing to that because we're tree huggers, so we're outside all of the time with our families. So like snow's okay, but
Hmm.
also like can we go hiking in the snow? You know what I mean? Those types of things, as long as it provides like some sort of outdoor activities for the kids, and for us, again, because we're big tree huggers, um, we're really open to it. And I've been to Germany, it was fine. The food, but
You got
yeah.
to come to Berlin. Berlin, we got some bitchin' food, and let me make the pitch. Okay, so the best place to go as a family, especially with as a family with like professional qualifications, is Germany. We have the highest salaries in the EU normally. We have incredible structures for families because we are so desperate for children. Germans are not fucking. They are, but they're not reproducing. And so the government actually gives you 283 euro per child every month until they're 18. This helps cover childcare and Kita, which is preschool here, and a variety of other things. Maternity, we get up to 2 years per child, and you can actually take that anytime within a 4-year period, and it can be split between the partners as well. That also includes non-binary folks, gay and lesbian folks, whatever your family looks like. We have 25 days of guaranteed holiday, but you often have more. So I have 40 days of holiday plus an extra 8 days of like national days that we have. And then overall, the systems in place to take care of you as a family is just so much more relaxed. We have compulsory insurance once you work up to 12 weeks for unemployment, and so or 12 months. So what that means is if you get laid off, you get up to a year of your salary to find that job at 80% or 100%, depends on where you are in the bracket. For your husband and your skills, I would estimate that you would make anywhere from 70,000 to 150,000. This brackets are so big because you guys do very different things. Um, as a pair, and this goes for anyone here as well, if you are moving as a pair, you just need one person to be the anchor if you are married. If you are in a partnership, sometimes if you can demonstrate that you have bills or housing agreements or something in both your names for up to 2 years, that could qualify for a partner visa, for example, in Spain or the United Kingdom. So I could keep going on and on about Germany, but what did you think about that recommendation, Kendra?
Definitely like it. What would you say about the weather, and also do you feel like you have any concerns with being so close to Russia with all of the stuff going on, or do you feel like safe where you are?
I feel pretty safe. It is pretty far from the Ukraine right now, and then we also have like Poland and many other countries that are in between
Right,
us and
for
Russia.
sure.
When it comes to the weather, here in Berlin, it's cold, but the summer and spring and fall are gorgeous. It's a little bit more balanced in Munich and in the southern part of Germany. Switzerland also has several days of sunshine as well, but you don't get the same family support and government support as a larger family. So another reason why I didn't choose the Netherlands is because housing can be an issue in the Netherlands, and there's much smaller spaces. Here in Germany, depending where you live, we are rent controlled pretty aggressively. So for a tier two city, you could rent a house for about 2,000 euro, 3,000 euro. That will maybe get you a one bedroom apartment in Amsterdam.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
So for you
Okay.
guys specifically, I think Germany's your best bet.
Okay.
Cool. And so everyone on this call, I'm going to be giving everyone feedback based off of their circumstances. But if you hear something that is interesting to you, feel free to ask me more questions about that because I want to exchange the ideas here. Let's go over to the cat whisperer, Kevin. Are you there, Kevin? Did you
Yes, I'm here.
were you able to do your values exercise?
Unfortunately not, since I was busy trying to move,
All good.
to Florida.
Do you have some ideas about what you want next for your life? And then we can just go from there.
Probably it's kind of like the common, you know, wants that, I mean, probably the reasons why everybody wants to move to another place. I mean, looking for, you know, happiness, health, stability, um, I guess more human, environment
Okay.
than hustle and bustle culture in America.
Mhm.
Um,
Would
I
you be
mean,
by yourself or with someone?
yeah, no, I'm single.
Cool. You said you worked in tech. Could you give me more details about that?
So I mean, I started as a kind of a service desk role, and then kind of worked my way to desktop and uh, and some administration work, and of course some asset management. So it's kind of like variety of I guess you can say IT support roles.
Mhm. Could I ask how old you are?
I'm 38,
38. Cool. Would you be at all opposed to doing a master's abroad?
a master's abroad.
Mhm.
Open to it.
Cool. There is a degree called a information technology degree. Are you familiar with it before I ex over explain?
I mean, I heard about it, but yeah, not many people explain too much about it.
Yeah, it's like a smorgasbord of everything that we would do in the more corporate side of technology. So you have really good skills already, but they're more generalist. And I think you mentioned that at the start. So you're going to be competing against not only foreign labor, but also domestic labor for these sort of more supportive roles. One way that I think you could take your career to the next level and also your pay would be to do a 1 year information technology degree, which would bump you into like the more corporate day-to-day activities that we would do. The pay increase would be substantial. Like we're talking about like 40 to 50,000 euro difference. And in Germany, we have universities that are public, and so you can actually do your master's for as little as 300 euro per semester. We also have the DAAD scholarship, DAAD, that would give you 12,000 euro to help cover the cost of living and the cost of tuition as well. We have tons of programs all over the European continent that are taught in English. And there's actually a list of those programs in the masterclass itself. So you can start there and then like work through it. All those programs are also under $5,000 for the year. This is just one idea and one pathway abroad. Another one could be a remote role that you take to Italy, to Portugal on the digital nomad visa. I'm just giving you some options about what you could do in this next chapter of your life. Does that sound interesting at all?
Yes, and I think from your previous was it during this month or last month on one of your webinars, I mean, I did try to, go through like we work remotely or some of those remote job boards, but uh, they always give kind of like a general, rejection feedback,
Mhm.
saying that you're not chosen. So I guess I don't know what I'm missing or whatever, I guess for them to kind of reject me. They don't give reasons, they just give you like a very general, rejection.
Yeah.
So
I think we've all been there. Raise your hand if you've received general rejections.
yeah.
Yeah, don't worry, Kevin, you're not alone. In week 3, we're gonna hit the job market hard. And actually everything that's there can be applied to the United States as well. So overwhelmingly, most of my clients actually see an immediate impact in their US job search
Mhm.
before like really focusing abroad. So I think it'll make a big difference for you in your journey. And you have a couple weeks to think about whether or not maybe going to the next level of your career through some education could be for you.
Yes, and I mean because when you were saying like, Germany or I guess some of the other countries that we mentioned in this group, like Netherlands, I was thinking about, the language as well, if that was the other part of it, like, uh, like German and or Netherlands with the Dutch. So I was like, I mean, I know, Taiwanese, Mandarin, Spanish, Japanese, but I
Hey,
don't know those
Kevin.
other, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's incredible. We need to like highlight that on your application. If that is also the case, I mean, like Hong Kong has a booming tech industry. Would you ever want to go to Asia?
Well, some of my Hong Kong friends in California kind of been telling me to avoid Hong Kong with the whole situation there.
Hmm. Well, I think it comes back to there is no perfect place. But I used to live and work in China. And like for sure, we were very upfront with like the Communist Party and what they can and can't do. Still one of the greatest experiences of my life because although like corruption was very clear, I was personally so safe as a woman. I would like walk home barefoot after the club at 4 a.m. Nobody would touch me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I need freedom that much if I'm physically and personally safe. But we'll have this debate in a little bit, Kevin. Start getting the juices flowing about what could be next for yourself.
Sounds good. Yeah, no, I mean, I guess I was also having met with a spiritual, I guess one of those spiritual, I forgot what do they call themselves? Something astro cartography. I don't know how to say that. Um, and she,
Astrocartography.
oh yes, that's correct. And I guess she gave me some suggestions, like what would be like some good areas for, career, like I guess since you were saying Asia, she kind of told me about seems like maybe around South Korea or Japan has more opportunities and kind of more like an advancement. And
Hmm.
then she also gave me some in uh, South America before, we had to end our session. But that's all I got from, from that spiritual person.
You're gonna need to drop the chart in our group chat later because we have
Okay.
several people who can also give feedback on that.
Yes.
But let me bop over to Alma next.
Hi. Cool. So in terms of values and both from like a career and personal standpoint, so I've lived in New York City, in a big city for about 12 now years. And so where I want to go next is, and I mentioned specifically tech. So looking at the large tech countries, which includes the Netherlands and Germany. But why I bring up the big cities, because ideally I would like something smaller. It's the classic story of, hey, I've lived the big city. I'm looking for something a little more quaint. So I really was thinking of like an Amsterdam or a Munich. And I know Vanessa, you've lived in Munich. Um, so that compounded with jobs and tech and the city itself is great. I also love being close to the Alps. So I do and primarily are looking on the southern part of Europe. So the Switzerland and the Germany just made sense. It's harder to find, I think, tech jobs in Switzerland. I've searched for a bit. I've kind of been job applying for the past month and a half. Um, so yeah, so really just looking for that kind of better work-life balance, and definitely want to be an expat.
What type of tech do you do? Or what do you do in tech?
Yeah, so I'm in revenue or strategy or business, strategy and operations. So we call ourselves either rev ops, sales ops, biz ops. I think you're familiar with that. Works. I actually tried a couple times to move to London before because naturally easier to move with an American company. Actually, funny story, not funny, but Twitter. So somebody mentioned federal, I forget, but back in when Elon came in, I was actually part of the entire acquisition story. So, or not personally, but I was there when it all happened. Um, but got all my paperwork approved, and then Elon came in. I was like, okay, goodbye. So, but anyway, so yeah, I was also looking at UK just because there's more opportunities, but ideally we'll like the other places.
Yeah. Well, I think you have a great background. And if Expedia, so I work for Expedia full time. We have
Yeah,
a big RevOps operation in Switzerland. So if you see anything, let me know and I'll send you a referral.
amazing.
Um, I so with your skills and background, like Munich and Amsterdam are definitely an option. But I think Switzerland would be really interesting for you. So I think your inclination to go there is correct. Are you moving with anyone? Do you have any kids or anything like that?
No, so
No,
I'm just very simple. It's just me myself.
perfect. Go be a rich, beautiful woman in Switzerland. Really and honestly.
Nice.
You are a wealthy benefactor, but go find a second one. Get a third one.
Love that.
We'll all cheer for you. Um, the key to breaking into tech in Europe, which you'll hear more about in week three, is like fabricating a network here online. And
Yeah,
so I'll show you exactly how to do that. You can even like skip ahead a little bit and check it out in week three. But network is everything for the tech industry over here. And because it's so competitive to break in, cold applying is just like not enough anymore. So we'll
yeah,
definitely work on that with you. When it comes to London as an option, London is the hardest market to break into because literally everyone in the world is trying at the same time.
exactly. Yeah.
But given that you have big names on your CV, I could see you being one of the lucky ones. Who are you currently working for right now?
Monday.com.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a client who is at Miro right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so she got the sponsorship to go from the US to the UK. Can you remind me to make an intro for you?
Yeah.
And I think you guys would get along really well. You have similar backgrounds. And then she could possibly help with that London market breakthrough.
Amazing. Thank you.
All good. Let's go to Jila.
Cool. So my three or four main
Mhm.
values that I came up with were new beginning, advancement, balance, and fulfillment. I feel like I keep moving around because I just don't feel happy. So that's like the only thing that I can amount it to because I do love cities and like I've only been in New York for like 2 months, I think. So I find myself going back to cities, but even in the city, there's just still something that I'm like I'm just not fully happy yet. And then when I did the country quiz, it said Asia or Australia.
Mhm.
Because I was also thinking of doing a doctorate degree since I have my master's, but um, so I was looking like at some universities in Australia. Um,
Could I
but
ask
yeah.
how old you are? How old you are?
I just turned 27. Yes.
Amazing. Okay. Would you entertain like a left field recommendation?
Sure.
Cool. There is a working holiday visa in Australia and New Zealand that's only available until you're 33. If you're open to new beginnings and you're like here to vibe and just have good experiences, go do that. Go, like the flexibility of this visa is pretty substantial as well. It's technically for 1 year, but you can reapply 3 times, I believe. And I have a friend, Nina. Her Instagram is Where in the World is Nina? She did the working holiday visa and she went and worked at like luxury resorts. They paid for her housing, they gave her a salary, they paid for her food, and she walked away with like $60,000 in cash because you don't pay for anything.
Right. Yeah.
And so there's just a lot of flexibility with what you can do in these two countries. You can only do this visa for a limited amount of time. And I'm a big proponent of figuring out all the things you don't want to do, which will eventually show you what is right for you later down the road. Second comment is in Shanghai specifically, they have a new residence program or residence program where if you have a PhD and if you work for 1 year in Shanghai, you can apply for permanent residency there, period. And then you can work with whoever you want. So when I was 26, I applied to Fudan in Shanghai and got a full ride scholarship to do Chinese studies and language. They paid for my flight, my tuition, my apartment, my food, everything. But then my boyfriend proposed, and I was like, damn, I'm about to choose a man over my future. But we celebrated 9 years of marriage this year. So it ended up working out for me. But if I was young, single, and hot like you, I would go as far as the wings would take me. What do you think about these ideas?
Yeah, I like those too. Open to it.
Well, if all of it sounds good, my approach is always don't close doors on myself. Let the world close doors on me because she will. So go ahead and figure out the ones that you want to apply for. Apply for them all, and then see who will pay you the most money to do the least amount of work and go with that.
Cool. Love that. Thanks.
You're welcome. Kelly, your turn.
Awesome. Yeah, so certainly have a lot of similarities with folks there. Still open, so out of the story, certainly if there's something else that pings that would make more sense, I'm open to it. But um I work for a Fortune 100 company right now, Constellation Energy, and so I do pretty well. I've been with them for this will be my 8th year. I'm 12 years out of school. I have my master's already. And so I'm pretty settled. I'm an FP&A manager. So all of that is good stuff. And then I'd say for the values perspective, this is kind of where I resonate with everybody, looking for, you know, access to healthcare, like good healthcare, just the freedom that comes with a better work-life balance. I generally will work anywhere between, 10, 12, 14, 16 hours sometimes because it's 24/7 business. Yeah, we they're a big proponent for less people, more work. Love the company really, but yeah, yeah, there's never a lack of stuff to do. But also professional and personal development. I think moving abroad and just seeing different things and learning from different people and different perspectives is always a positive thing.
You said constant consolidation energy. Could you use smaller words?
Constellation.
Constellation. Okay. Same question, smaller words, please explain.
So Constellation Energy is a Fortune 100 company in the US. We do have a location in the UK. But again, to the earlier point, UK doesn't take pets. So I'm like, "Rah, I can't take my dog." And I just rescued him like in August. So I'm like, I kind of can't do that to him. So, but anyways, so as an FP&A manager, which is financial planning and analysis, it's all in the finance sector of the business. So I am also biz ops, but I had know nothing about tech.
We basically don't know either anymore. We just keep coming up with new shit and we have to learn a whole new thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I deal with money.
that is the language I speak.
Yes, millions and millions of dollars.
Yes. Did you check if Norway allows pit bulls?
I So I've been trying to do a deeper dive into it because at first I thought like everybody and their brother was against it other than Italy, but it seemed like I think Austria I think has a limited ban, but I don't think I've looked at Norway. And the reason why is the other piece. So I live in upstate New York. It is cold here. I would like not cold.
Kelly, you're doing a hard job. You want to be happy with healthcare and not be cold with a pit bull? Like,
I know. I'm looking for a magical unicorn.
Lindsay, I'm gonna need your astrological consultations. I'm running out of ideas. Okay.
Yeah. Part of the reason I was looking at Italy is one of our major vendors is GE Vernova, and they do have some locations there, as well as France, but France is kind of off the table, and the UK. So I was like, that was kind of what was coming out of that and why I was driving there. But again, certainly open to the train systems are better. So if I can get to somewhere as warm, I guess we can be good.
Your pit bull is what type of pit bull?
Super great question. I actually have a DNA test sitting in front of me that I need to give him because I really don't know. If I had to take a guess, he's like the American Staffordshire Terrier.
Okay. Because I think Ireland has fewer pit bull limitations. It's like
Gotcha.
the XL bully. And
Yes.
I actually had a client, they couldn't get their dogs, they're huge dogs, to Europe very easily. So they took the Queen Mary cruise
I'm
from,
looking this up.
yeah, exactly. So
I'm like, I don't know that he can fly. He's such a sweetheart. He's sitting down here. I'm just gonna say hello to my apartment. There he is.
Yeah.
He's just hanging out.
Yeah. So
But yeah, I'm like, I don't know that he could fly. He would lose his mind.
that's why they took the Queen Mary. I think it was like a 2 week cruise. I mean, poor you, Kelly. But
Yeah.
that's at least a way to get him over here to the
Yeah.
Ireland has a really good tech scene. I don't know what to tell you about the sunshine. However, I can tell you that there is an inverse relationship between how much money you're going to make and how warm the country actually is.
Okay.
Maybe the extra money that you're making will be able to afford you that $27 plane ticket
Yeah.
to Italy or Portugal, and that could be the compromise we meet at.
Exactly. That may be it. Like that flexibility. I have a lot of time off. I just don't ever get to use it.
One other thing that might be helpful for you is you're so charming in person, Kelly. Have you ever thought about scheduling holidays around conferences? Because I think
Okay.
that would be a really effective way to start building a network for yourself over here. Because
Okay.
maybe it's just our finance department, but they tend to be more like introverted and yeah. So I think
It's the
anybody,
cat thing earlier.
yeah. And I just think if people could meet you, like they would fall in love with
Yeah.
the energy and really
I
open
say
up.
that all the time. I'm
Yeah,
like, you don't know me, but you're gonna love me.
100%. You need to put that on a shirt. We'll get you that shirt when you move over here.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, Kelly.
Awesome. Thanks.
Let's go over to Natalia.
Hey.
Hi.
So my values. So I think kind of similar to everyone. So well-being in general terms, like happiness, joy, health, good healthcare, safety. I think one of the big things now in the US, all the immigration issues, even though I'm not an immigrant officially right now, I still am in my my soul. So I do not feel safe, and you know. And then socially, I think community as well would be very important for me. Um, I'm similar to Kendra. I work in public health, global health, research. I'm an epidemiologist.
Ooh,
Um,
okay. I went to school at SOAS in the UK, and we have the epidemiology school right next to us. So we would
yeah,
just talk about infectious diseases because I worked
yeah,
in.
my
Yeah.
background is in microbiology too. So yeah, infectious disease.
Do you
That's
know
my heart.
leishmaniasis?
Yes,
Yeah, that so I used to be an aid worker for war zones, and that was my disease,
that's
leishmaniasis.
nice.
Yeah,
That's really nice.
it was
Really
way
cool.
too scary to go into the field. I was like, I'll be here by the computer, letting you guys go to the
That's a cool part. Yes.
With that being said, how would you feel about moving to Spain?
I think it's a good option for sure. I've been looking, I haven't seen that much job opportunities. But yes, I do because I'm Costa Rican, I do think I have a way there. I did your webinar last week, was it? And you mentioned it, and I thought that I didn't know about it. To be honest. So I think definitely that would be very interesting. I think culturally, definitely it's a good match. Obviously, I know the language. Um, yeah, I
To give
definitely think.
a little context for the group, Spain has a program to apologize to the countries that they have raped and pillaged. We apologize by offering you a passport in 2 years instead of 10. And so by getting a Spanish passport, you would be able to go anywhere in the European Economic Union after 2 years. You would not have a visa situation over your head anymore. And so if you decided to like retire early and like go follow a lover to Switzerland, like that's your business. The government has no place there.
Yeah,
And so even though it is not as sexy sometimes, people are like, oh, I want to come to Europe and have a totally different experience. I will always try to advocate for the path of least resistance because getting that passport means you have more options.
yeah, for sure. No, I
And
agree. I do like the idea of Spain. Yeah,
awesome.
definitely.
The second option would be the UK, actually, because the epidemiology community is basically founded there. And so you can tap into the School of Epidemiology for additional resources. There's the aid networks as well. Um, it's still a very, very competitive market to break into, which is why I think Spain is the better market to focus on. But you'll need to shift through a lot more in Spain as well, because the market is so much bigger. Um,
Okay.
when we hit week 3, I'm going to show you how to use LinkedIn optimization to attract those opportunities to you. So that should give you some extra support. But Spain is also one of those countries where like interpersonal relationships matter a lot.
Yeah,
So wherever you can call to start
yeah.
creating a network over there,
No,
now's the time to start.
okay. Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Let's go over to Kat. I was gonna say Kat calling Kevin, but that's not a great name. I'm gonna have to think of a different nickname. Kevin, do you have any other nicknames that I could call you?
No, no one really calls me anything besides Kevin or Kev. So I guess not. I don't know.
Here in Germany, we actually make fun of the name Kevin for some reason.
So I read something about that. It was like something to do with Home Alone and like Europeans naming their kids after that character in the movie. And
Mhm.
it's like considered like lowbrow or something. And I was like, of course. I was like, it's like Karen, and I was like,
Yeah,
but
but if Karen was like trailer trash, like Sorry.
No, I mean, yeah. Um,
What are your values, Kevin?
so the values that I selected are adventure,
Mhm.
growth, happiness, and safety.
Gotcha. Are you moving with anyone, Kevin?
Yeah, with my wife and my 4-year-old daughter.
Cute. And what does the wife do?
She's also a software developer. We both met in college. We both have 4-year Bachelor of Science degrees, and then we've been working basically since then. So it's like 14 years of professional full-time experience. But like I said, most of it is centered around like the DoD. So like I've jumped around quite a bit up until COVID and becoming a father. Um,
What is the DoD? Sorry.
the Department of Defense, sorry.
Ah,
So like I've worked for Northrop Grumman. Um, I've been like sub to like Lockheed Martin, like these giant, companies that get all of their money from the United States government, which always makes me, it's always in the back of my mind because I have applied overseas and had a few like Zoom calls with people. And then I also get mysteriously ghosted. And I'm like, did they look me up and they're like, oh, this is a whole can of worms that we don't want to deal with, right? Or is it just I'm not selling myself and my skills correctly or whatnot?
I think it's the latter. The way that
Right.
we interview over here, it's also part of a sales pitch. So it's not enough to just be like great at your job. Every interview is an opportunity to convince them to sponsor you as well. Also, have you guys ever lived abroad before?
No,
Yeah, so
no,
that is also like another like tick against you because there's no evidence
sure.
you would actually make the jump and move abroad from that first interaction that you have with them. So definitely something for us to like polish together, which is the sales pitch of why you should be sponsored, why you will actually make this move and not waste everyone's time, and like the very specific skills that you have. Um, could you give me more information about like the type of software engineering that you specialize? I'm just seeing like drone strikes in my head, so I don't know how to spell that.
So I have a very what so the I work for a small business right now, and I
Mhm,
have for close to 5 years. It's like the longest stint that I've been anywhere.
mhm,
And my CTO has told me several times in this 5 years that I have a broader set of experience than like he does,
mhm.
but just because I keep jumping around. But I would sell myself, I guess, as a full stack developer. Like I do a lot of web development, but I've also done embedded stuff like things that are, on small devices. Um, yeah, it's just I'm a very generalist software person, but I enjoy using personally, I really enjoy using like Python, Elixir,
Mhm.
to get to specific things. But I also have like a broad set of experience in Java, which I know is like an enterprise, heavy thing everywhere, not just in the DoD. And lately, I've been doing a lot of things that are specific to like model-based systems engineering, which is
Ah,
just like, as far as I can tell, because I'm not a systems engineer, drawing pretty pictures, and then they sort of throw that to engineers and say, build this thing, right?
yeah.
But I have a pretty broad background in like managing the software process. So I've been a lead developer a few times
Mhm.
in my career. Um, Most recently, just on this plugin that my company is now using to sell our product. But again, it's sort of like B2B to other defense contractors.
Gotcha.
So
I kind of am seeing you in more of like a leadership role or an architect role just because you have so much experience. But we can pick apart titles in week three. You
sure.
guys have a great golden ticket, to be honest. Like, if you are in a partnership, as you heard, you just need one person to be the anchor, and then the family.
Right.
So the key here is divide and conquer for you and your wife. We'll get the optimization going on LinkedIn, and you guys can target different places and see where the pieces fall. Because you guys are a smaller family, and your daughter is a little bit older, I think Ireland and the Netherlands would be really interesting for you guys. Because you don't need as much space, and these are pretty big tech industries. You can also live and work in English very easily, but not to scare off anyone from moving to Germany. So long as you're in a English speaking, or so long as you are with a international company, the working language is going to be English. So it's going to be okay. I
Okay.
think the challenge for you guys is giving evidence and showing people that you are serious about this move. And maybe
Right.
there are some ways we can invest in that as well. There's something called the job seeker visa here in Germany. And you could, I recommend that you put in an application or at least start to pretend to build one. So in your CV, you can actually put like, is a job seeker visa candidate. And that is
Oh, okay.
enough to overcome a lot of these interview blockades. And
Oh, okay. Just to show them that you actually went, because I actually did look into that because I think I'm in week 3 right
ah,
now of the course material. I actually also started looking up recruiters in Ireland and just like connect, and then hitting LinkedIn's like, oh, you can't connect with this person. Um, so yeah.
it's 200 connections per week. And then
Oh, okay.
once you overcome that initial like barrier to entry where you have no connections in Ireland or the Netherlands, blah blah, then it starts to pick up the pace a lot faster. Um, when we get to week 3, I'm going to show everyone how to start attracting those recruiters and people to you. But I think this is very doable for you and your wife, and it's going to be dealer's choice about where you guys actually want to move.
Awesome. It's a lot of you were talking about sharing feelings, which is what that's like my MO. So I'm it's a lot of frustration, I think, for me, and I feel bad because I talked to my wife about it. Um, Maybe I like overshare, but yeah, trying to it's like I realize how well placed we are, but yeah, not having like a software portfolio and not having sort of the yes, I am seriously like I want to move, right?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's just pin up frustration, right? So I need to like turn it into action. But
You're amongst friends. And also, I think it's important to give yourself a morning opportunity to be like, fuck, we just did all of that work and it didn't work out. I think it's like so American to be like, get it together, bitch. Like, keep going forward.
sure,
It's okay to acknowledge that this didn't work out the first time, but we're coming back around, and you did the right thing by joining a community to support you through it. And you obviously get access to my network now. So let's find the right place for you and your wife.
awesome, thank you.
Cool. We're gonna go up to Art and Chandler.
Hi. So, okay, I have the values worksheet pulled up. So very similarly, we did inclusion, safety, health, and community. And sort of broadly under health is access to healthcare. I have a chronic illness and I do not want to age in the United States. So I work in financial aid in a university and I have an undergrad degree in English literature. But I'm open to like a lot of fields in humanity and I'm heading more towards like um digital curation, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then art has a mechanical engineering bachelor's degree. And by the end of this year, I'll have about like 2.5 years of work experience in the field. And then another year before that in like research-based stuff. You know, maybe like a year and a half of specifically engineering. Well, and only my latest job has engineering in the title. So yeah, which pretty early career. But yeah, but obviously like we're a queer couple. We also are both like under the transgender umbrella, and so it's just really dangerous for us here in the States um, along with a lot of other people. So we, yeah, like safety falls under that one for us pretty big time. Like it seems for most of us, like just the safety of day-to-day life in the EU in certain countries is like federally protected, or like queer couples and LGBTQ rights. We also put inclusion because we're from the Southwest, and we don't. That's been the one thing when I visited Europe a few times is that like a lot of cities are like all like it's just a lot of white people, and we want to be in a bigger city that's more diverse. Um, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, I think you're making the right decision. And it's absolutely my goal to find someplace that you're not only safe, but celebrated and accepted. So how opposed are you guys to getting married?
That's actually something we've been talking about the last like week or two. Because the more that we've looked into it, is that like it is easier to move abroad when you're married already. So even just for like um the ease of moving, like we are open to it. It's yeah, we've been talking about it the last like week or two. Um, yeah.
Well, you wouldn't be the first people to get married for a visa, and you're certainly not going to be the last. But in my mind, I'm we need a parachute ASAP. And so the faster we can bind you two, so we just need one to be the anchor, as you know, the faster both of you can be in a place that you feel safe and secure. So with that being said, I think you both switched. So Chandler, are you with the purple hair?
Yes, I'm Chandler. I'm the one who has like, yes, I
Perfect.
want to study abroad, and they're the one with engineering. Yeah, like they said, a little bit more early career, and neither of us speak another language really. We're completely open to learning. Um, but yeah.
All good. I think a really interesting combo would be for Chandler to do a master's degree abroad and for Art to come as a spouse. Because especially in Germany, there's this really cool program called the integration course. I think it's cool. Maybe other people would not think so. It's mostly for like refugees and like early comers. But it's 200 euro for like 2 or 3 months of education. I picked up German in like 6 months. And so I just hit it hard. Art, with your mechanical engineering background, you're super competitive for the car companies out here. Like they are desperate for your background. And even though you are earlier in your career, I really think you would be very competitive, and they do accept English speakers specifically. It's just you would get more money if you spoke German, and we want to get you paid. So the anchor could be Chandler. You come with Chandler for 6 months, upskill that German, be in person for these interviews. And then you would be the wealthy financier of the couple. And in Germany, you can get citizenship in as little as 3 years if you speak C1 German. And since you'll have the integration course under your belt, you would be quicker to the draw. And once you get your citizenship, then Chandler can take the integration course or whatever, and you just need 5 years as a spouse of a German person to become German, and you only need a B1 for that. So we can kind of see we're using each other as a ladder to ultimately get an EU passport, and then you can be interpretive dance artists after that. Like, I don't really care. Live your best queer life.
So if that was the path that we took, would I be the one doing the German integrative course or first, or would they?
Um, Art would be doing the integration course first. Chandler, as someone who does a master's degree, you have the option to take German at the same time. It's just a little bit more formal. So Art is going to get ahead further, faster, because you're going to be balancing a bunch of different classes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we hadn't looked into that part, but it's probably a good idea to immersively learn the language. Yeah, Germany has sort of been at the top. I went for 2 weeks last summer and like looked at a few different cities. We're not like tied down to any specific city, and we looked at Ireland because of, the lack of a language barrier, but I also know they have a housing crisis right now, so it's sort of like a trade-off.
Yeah, that's every country's a trade-off. Germany is super, super queer. We take trans rights very, very seriously here. So I think that's why it would be your best bet. The Netherlands is also very queer, but the housing crisis is pretty severe. With arts, education background and career trajectory, like you would be able to live comfortably. But coming back to the, I don't want you to just be comfortable, I want you to thrive. I really think you guys could make some serious money here in Germany, and quickly become European citizens. You're very welcome. All right, let's go over to Sophia. Jasmine, Amanda, Lindsay, I'm saving you all for last because we have had conversations. I hope that's okay. You're not being ignored. It's just I love you so much.
So, the words I came up with for the core values was community, joy, well-being, and success.
What does success mean?
Probably in terms for me is having a career that's fulfilling.
Emotionally or financially?
Both.
Well, now you're just complicating things. Okay. What do you do again, Sophia?
Well, I got my bachelor's degree in art history. It was humanities with emphasis in art history. And right when I was supposed to be like going either to grad school or starting my career, I had like a really bad TBI slash spinal cord injury.
Wow.
So it was the kind of thing where it was like if I had hit my head any harder, I would have died immediately, kind of thing. So I'm like still, and that happened in like summer 2018. And like right when I graduated is when I started to get like a ton of symptoms, or actually months before I graduated. So it was like I'm still healing, but I'm much better than I was then. So that's where I'm like, okay, I almost feel like I've lost 5 years because of it. Like, I feel like with everyone else talking about where they are in their careers, I feel like so behind, And in terms of it'll probably be that much harder to immigrate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to comfort you and let you know that even with I have 8 years of tech experience. We just heard from Kevin, who has like 14 or something like that. Jasmine also has been in the game for a really long time. Lindsay too. Amanda, you've been working for like what, 18 years since you could walk. Raise your hand if you have it all figured out in your career. None of us. Raise your hand if you feel kind of behind in comparison to other people. So fortunately, Sophia, it will never change. You will always feel a little bit behind your peers because as Americans, we are constantly talked to or told to benchmark and compare and fix ourselves. You are okay. You're on your timeline doing the best you can with the circumstances, first and foremost. Secondly, would you be open to a career pivot since I know that financial success is also one of your values?
Possibly, but I was starting to do research with fashion sustainability. Like my thesis was on fashion and art, and I realized in the past what I never did really pursue like full on going into fashion was because I hated the overconsumption and like I didn't want to be like contributing to that message. But knowing now that like slowly the like sustainability in fashion is starting to gain popularity. Like it's just starting out, and I would love to be like a part of that.
Mm-hmm. Could we tackle it from a different angle? And maybe I sound a little bit like a broken record here. But if you saw my workshop, you know that there's the labor market test that we all have to pass as immigrants, where we have to give evidence that this company couldn't find anyone that does the thing that we do locally, and that's why they had to bring us over. Um, in the fashion industry, it's very, very competitive. It is also dependent on languages. So in France, like fat chance finding anything unless you speak French.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
In Italy, I had a client that had to learn Italian for a year
Mm-hmm.
before anyone
Mm-hmm.
would take her seriously. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so, if you were to focus on fashion sustainability technology, this is a real convincing ticket in that we could do a master's in first to build a
Mm-hmm.
network, to start learning a language, to start making that career shift. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because when it comes to art history, and just like the art space in general, it is very nepotistic. Like if you don't have a family that is involved or family money to participate at Sotheby's or any of these other houses, I just think it's going to be an uphill battle. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of information. What do you think about that so far?
Well, I can't remember what video it was that I had watched of yours where you did talk about like, because I know obviously if I want to immigrate to France, I have to be fluent. Like I'm already in French class in college right now. And so I wanted to ask about the like student visa for like language school in France, like if you know anything about like more details about that.
Yeah, so language visas are an awesome option. There are two types. One is through a university. I did this in China. The
Mhm.
second one is through a private language school. So this
Mhm.
would be the integration course, Art and Chandler. The private language schools range from 2,000 to 5,000 for the year. But
Mhm.
that does give you immediate access. You can apply tomorrow for it. And I believe you get up to 20 hours of work possibility per week. Um,
Mhm.
and so that would be a great idea to immerse
Mhm.
yourself in the French industry.
Mhm.
I will say, one, you don't have to be perfectly fluent. You need to have like a B2 level comprehension.
Mhm.
So like you couldn't be doing financial analysis with Kelly in French.
Right. Yeah.
Necessarily. But you could probably work with Kevin and I in B2 French, because in software engineering, we use a lot of English terms anyway. And like software engineering, the international language is English.
Mhm.
So you're thinking language visa to get your feet wet, to get the language going, and then to start applying locally.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking in terms of like if I'm fluent in the language in terms of like then going to get a master's in French, I figure would probably be easier in terms of then being able to get a job after.
For France, you'd absolutely need the language unless you work in technology,
Right.
like a whole visa about it for
Mhm.
technology specifically.
Mhm.
But from a longevity perspective, in the sustainable fashion space, which I do have friends in, you're looking at like 40 to 60,000 euro a year, which affords you like a very comfortable middle class life in France. And because of all of the benefits that the government provides,
Mhm.
you don't have to save for these like outrageous health emergencies, or you just don't get shook the same way you do in America
Mhm.
if you get sick. If
Mhm.
you did tech and fashion sustainability, you're looking at like 60 to 100,000 euro a year. Like the difference is pretty substantial.
Mhm.
So maybe sit with that idea a little bit, mull over it for the next week. I always want to prepare my clients to have options. And so if the sustainability and fashion thing no longer becomes of interest, you can easily pivot those same skills into a different tech adjacent space.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Sophia. Cool. Let's bop over to Jasmine. I was thinking about you earlier today, Jasmine. Tell me your values and then I'll tell you my feelings.
All right. So my values are community, adventure, health, and relationships. Um, let's see. I'm a social person. I want a network of friends. I want to retire in a place where I live on the ground floor so I can get my walker in and out when I'm older, and I want access to health care. I don't want to, like somebody else mentioned, I want to age in the US. I am very active, which is why I have the adventure component in there. I just retired from 13 years as a ski patroller. I do a lot of mountain biking and kayaking and hiking, so I want to continue to pursue those things as long as I can and am able to. Um, I've worked in data analytics for 40 years. I'm 62. Been single for about a year and a half. And I really don't want to retire yet because I make pretty good money. So I'm now putting this off maybe until next year so I can kind of squirrel away a little more money and then move. But I am starting to network with quite a few people that are work in data analytics in Portugal, since that's probably a good place for me to go, so that I can maybe do some consulting or part-time. I'm not sure on a D7 visa how much you're allowed to work, but I would still like to kind of keep my toes in the water because I really enjoy what I do. Oh, there's your cat.
Yeah, this little fluff ball. This is Xiaolong Bao. That's his legal government name. He is a Maine Coon. Look,
Oh,
sir. I'm just trying to think
beautiful.
how big he is. But yeah, he'll be on a lot of our calls, and he has these beautiful blue eyes, if you can see. There we go.
Oh,
There we go. All right, be gone. Um, I was thinking about you because of the consulting idea we had. Did I tell you about the non-lucrative visa in Spain as well when we last spoke?
I don't remember that. No.
Okay, great.
Non-lucrative?
Non-lucrative visa in Spain.
That sounds like volunteer work.
It's not, don't worry. Um, so the non-lucrative visa in Spain basically says if you can prove you have more than 30,000 euro in your bank account, you welcome to Spain. You can just show up and start living. And so
Really?
yeah, yeah.
I
Uh,
just sold my house. I'm actually in my camper van right now. So I could do that.
Yeah, you could absolutely do it. And you could go back and forth from the United States very easily as well to continue like doing side projects or whatever. Um, the reason I was thinking about this and you is because Spain has a much more lucrative tech scene for the consulting that we talked about. And I think there is flexibility on the non-lucrative visa to be a consultant and investor. So I don't know how much you know about angel investing or like consulting for startups where you exchange, it's called sweat equity, where you do the consulting in exchange for equity in early stage startups. I'm working with a lot of advisors right now, which is why I got the idea.
I
But
had a software company where I had angel investors invest in my company. So it was a software company. So I'm
perfect. Well, then
experienced
you have
with that.
a wealth of information to share with the next generation of tech professionals and companies. And I really think this could be the happy middle ground you were thinking, where you're still working in your field, making an impact, but you have access to Spain's like gorgeous landscapes. It's very outdoorsy. And yeah, what do you think about that pitch?
I'm gaming. It's close to Portugal, so it's probably, still up there with food and
Yeah.
social and being near well, I don't know if you're what city, like Madrid or
It would be up to you. I would recommend against Madrid because it's harder to get out of Madrid to experience all these beautiful
Oh,
coastlines and mountains. Barcelona would be another option, but if you go to like Sevilla, you are in the mountain ranges, the cost of
oh,
living
nice.
is super affordable. I will personally come visit you because I want to go to that festival that they have with the beautiful dresses. And you could just train to the major cities as well and go visit the startups that you want to invest in and consult for.
Sounds good. What about uh oh like do they take care of their elderly? Because I'm looking for somewhere to retire. Is it like Portugal where
I would say it's
similar?
better than Portugal when it comes to care if you ever need someone to help you. So the Spain is like the retired location for all the Brits. That's where they go to retire
Oh,
because you can afford a house for like 100,000, and it's like a nice house on the beach. And then their systems are already set up for retired people who maybe need a little bit more help or extra healthcare services. So you are all set there. It's also more developed and more connected than Portugal.
sounds good. So it's called the non-lucrative visa.
Correct.
Okay, I'll look into that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
It's also relatively straightforward as an application. I have several clients on it. So if you wanted to do that now, you could be in Spain as early as 3 months from now.
Oh, sounds good.
Yeah. Go live your best life, Jasmine. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Amanda, you ready to share your hopes and dreams and feelings? Are we okay to go over time a little bit today, guys? Sorry, it's just so many fun feelings. Cool.
I'm good.
Did
And
you?
I have a lot of feelings, Vanessa.
Yes,
I
I enjoy immensely.
yeah, I'm like everybody has four. I'm like, okay, which ones do I omit?
Yeah.
Um, Again, I'm traveling with a partner, so we kind of did this together. And he has a couple separate different ones. But for me, I'm definitely on the adventure side of it. Curiosity, diversity, freedom, fun, growth, flexibility, happiness, personal development as well. And I think that says a lot about where I'm at in my career. Again, I've been straight out of college, started my career, and I've been at it. I'll be 18 years in June. And I think I'm at the point where, you know, our generation is not our parents' generation. And, being in one place for 18 years where I've, experienced a lot of professional growth and, financial growth. I've grown with the company. I'm lucky to have done that. But I'm also like, I'm ready to figure out what is next and what's interesting. So I'm a television editor, and I currently work for ESPN, based out of our Los Angeles facility. And so that's why the UK is really a predominant, and I think really the only path. I do want to continue to do what I love, but I also want more. I want more, if my path is sports, great. If not, even better. I want to tell people stories. I want more diversity in my portfolio. And I could get that in the US, but I'm also like, I think I also want to travel, which is what a lot of my values are around, is just, learning about different cultures, but also experiencing different lifestyles and opening up my mind and having more perspective on the world. And I think I'm a firm believer that if, more of the world could afford or had the ambition to travel, the place would be a very, every country would be a very different place. So anyway, that's where I'm at. That's where my values are. And speaking with Vanessa in the past, really spearheading the global talent visa just because of the accolades that I've won in my career. It's literally a beeline into the UK for a very hefty market. And for everyone else out there, I don't know, I've been applying for UK positions for 2 years. And I have just recently, in the past like 3 months, been getting rejection letters. Before that, I haven't gotten anything. like not even an acknowledgement. So for those of you who are kind of in that same boat, I feel you. Um, I have a lot of experience. I have awards under my belt, and I still can't get someone to turn their head. So I'm with you all in that, and I'm excited to kind of get over that hurdle. And for my partner, just for awareness, he is in the medical field and he's actually looking at a separate visa at the moment. So we're trying to figure out if we're going to do the partner link with one or the other. And yeah, currently talking to a recommended lawyer. We got a hold of Nick and hopefully he can help us kind of conquer that global visa application. But one thing I did want to bring to this group is if anybody knows of or has linked to any UK organizations in the television or entertainment industry that you guys know or know of, I would love to know. Because I think with the application, we have to have an endorsement from a UK-based organization, and ESPN is not very worldly. I will say that, we touch on soccer or European football, basically Central American, like Mexico and Central America. We dive into that realm. But outside of the US, it's not a very global company. So I'm having a hard time on that side of the visa front to figure out how I can. But
Oh, Dr. Kendra, you're raising your hand.
Just a thought process. I know you said you don't want to stay in sports. And I know that ESPN is owned by Disney because I'm obsessed with Disney for, kids. Have you ever thought about like working for Disney? I know Disney's like global and they have lots of campuses and different things like outside of the US for sure. Like, would you be interested in something like that since it's kind of the same
Yeah.
company?
I would rather work for Disney than ESPN. I'm from Florida originally, so I grew up with Disney. The problem I think is just their global structure for Disney is more in the parks and actually like the cruise line side of things. So they're very much into like the marketing. They also still have Disney stores in the UK, and so a lot of the applications that I've seen for Disney jobs are store managers, for like their London Disney store, and things like that. But interestingly enough, for the first time in 2 years, yesterday or the day before, I saw a social media editor position in London for ESPN. So again, it's just the timing of things is so strange because I'm just getting started in this process with Vanessa, and I feel like so many things have just like fallen into place. But to your point, Dr. Kendra, I would love to work for Disney, and it is an alert for me because I still have access to our internal job postings. But just trying to find something with my that matches kind of what I want to do, but also my resume is difficult. So
We have a few pathways to explore together, which we're working on. But to give context to the group, the Global Talent Visa is a self-sponsored visa to the UK for people in the arts, in technology, and in research. So Dr. Kendra, you would actually qualify for one as well. But the caveat to that is this visa takes a lot of paperwork. And so that is probably the hardest thing to get through and to self-motivate for. So that's what Amanda is going through right now. I mean, I think if Raymond gets her boyfriend gets the offer, the partner visa is the path of least resistance. But I'm glad you're speaking with Nick to start to prepare and understand what is in front of you. When we get to week 3 about like expanding our network online, that'll give you a better understanding of like the different institutes that could write you that letter of recommendation because you can see who the other people work for and then like work backwards from that. I also have 2 freelancers that I work with that could help. One, Aya, she does the LinkedIn optimization for you. You just give her the keywords and like give her the preliminary instructions. So this is one way to kind of cut down on all the work, Amanda, because you're a busy lady, you're doing coaching and you're doing everything on your own. So maybe this is one way you can offload that grunt work to someone else. Okay. Cool. All right, last, let's take it home, Lindsay. How you doing? You look so cozy over there.
This is the best couch I've ever sat on. It's so giant and so sink-inable. It's great.
I appreciate
Um,
your eyes open for this then.
yeah, I've been under the weather the last like 4 or 5 days, so I'm trying to be present and um engaged and remember my own values while listening to everyone else's. I'm in the same boat as Amanda. I'm like, oh, I have so many values. Which ones do I have to omit to keep it to four?
Yeah, do your best, Lindsay. I believe in you.
Okay. Um, I guess balance and well-being would be at the top.
Mhm.
Um, And then I'm noticing, like, as I travel recently, excellence and quality is kind of bumped up on my values list. Just like it's like related to like reliability and things just being like good quality. And maybe that's like my own perfectionism stuff that's coming up. But um, stability, reliability, that kind of boat, humility as a cultural value for the people that I want to be around.
Mhm.
Oh, and financial well-being, financial abundance.
That was more than four, but I forgive
I
you.
know. I know. I lost track.
Well, I think, or how, in our private sessions, have we settled on any country yet? Or are we still working through?
No,
No, yeah,
no.
okay. Um, 'Cause we're also building a business together. So uh,
I know. And I promise I'm only like marginally avoiding the homework you gave me. I've also been unwell.
I also had the flu, so you are
Okay.
forgiven. But I'm gonna follow up with you this week. I'm back in the
I
game.
know, I know, I know. I'll respond this tomorrow.
Well, a side quest, perhaps, perchance. I know you want to be in the EU, which is great and fine and fun. But I think a little stint in Bali would also be interesting for you now that they have the digital nomad visa.
They
You're,
do?
yeah, they just launched late last year. Um,
Okay.
because the humility thing really got me thinking about like that kind of environment and maybe doing a reset. You've done so much traveling this year to like just sit in paradise for a year and like really focus on what Lindsay wants,
Yeah.
needs, and is interested in for even like a reset, because you have been working for ages. Could
Yeah.
potentially be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because like I hadn't spent a lot of time in Europe before, and that's where like the excellence quality thing kind of came in. I kind of came here, at least in the UK, expecting a little bit of the infrastructure to be a bit better because I was comparing it to my mom's from Singapore, so like Singapore is just like top notch with like a lot of things, and so I was like, oh, every America sucks. Everywhere else must be better. And then like coming here in England is like, oh, not so great with the infrastructure as what I thought. So, and I know there are different parts of Europe that are better than England, I'm assuming, but
Mhm.
uh, yeah.
Could be
Yeah.
interesting. Second option, with your current contract, because you are remote, is of course Portugal. Like you would find a lot of like-minded people there. Portuguese people are wonderful, very humble.
Mhm.
The bigger cities are more reliable. Spain, I don't think would be a good match because they are not reliable at all. So a couple options. I think what you end up choosing to do will also kind of dictate the decisions that you make. Um,
Yeah, like actually like this afternoon I spent a little bit of time because I really yeah, I told you I loved my time in Ireland and I do find them to be quite humble and in a different way. Um, and so I spent a bit of time looking up like MBA programs and like masters in project management just because that fits with my background. But I'm also nervous about all the changes that are happening with the Department of Education and I'd have to apply for a graduate loan and I don't know like like I don't really know what's going on, and I don't think, I need to do some research on that. But if you have any insight or, like how it's changing the landscape of people qualifying for loans and stuff, I don't.
I have no idea. I literally have an alert on it though, because that's how I paid for my master's abroad. I took out a student loan with what
Like
are
the grad.
the
Sorry.
federal loans that we have that's available.
Yeah.
There's a list of universities internationally that also qualify for the federal student loan program.
Yeah.
Um, One alternative is you could do a PhD in Northern Europe and they'll pay you to go do it. You just have to find a program that's open. And then they kind of have like barriers of like what you can study. So long as you find a program that fits your interest, that grant already exists and your income derives from that grant. Um,
Okay.
Sweden has some of the highest paying PhDs. I think you get like $3,500 per month on it. And they also have really good student housing for mature students who are basically people over 25. So you would get your
That's
own
true.
apartment from the university that they subsidize.
Okay,
Like,
cool. Okay, I'll look into it. I don't know if I could handle that cold though. Like I've just acclimated to UK, Ireland cold. And I'm like, I could do this. But like any more north, I'm like, oh God. I can't. But
well,
I'll look into it.
have a think. It is
Yeah.
a secure job for 3 to 4 years, fully paid
Okay.
for. Maybe there's a little bit of wiggle room.
Right. Yeah. I am an indoor cat, so like what's 3 to 4 years inside?
Cool. All right, guys. Sorry we went a little overboard with the timing, but I just wanted to give everyone an opportunity to share. And I hope you can see from this conversation, you are truly not alone. Everybody is feeling lost and curious, and they want to see what's next for themselves, and they maybe have some imposter syndrome. And so I really hope that you find comfort and solace in this group. If you haven't already sent your Instagram handle in the group chat, please email me it and I'll set it up tomorrow. I will post this recording tomorrow as well and circulate it amongst the group. And yeah, let's start working on week 2, which is all about visas. Now you have some ideas about the visas that are available to you. And remember, we always want at least 2 visas in the process. So if you're going on a work permit now, what's after the work permit? How long does it take to become a permanent resident, etc. And then we'll go from there. Sound good, everyone? Cool. It was wonderful to get to know you. I cannot wait to further dive into your hearts and souls, and I'll see you on Sunday.
Thank you.
Bye, friends.
Thank you.